Hi, I'm Felipa, and today is day 151 out of my 365-day commitment to complete reading this Bible. I start on Psalm 19, and I will say that for this section here, I'll probably do like a bigger video because there's so much information here. So Aleph starts us off by saying that, so first of all, actually, I should say every single one of these little sections, Psalms, they all have a continuous message, and that is that God will teach us and that we need to ask for knowledge. We need to ask to be taught. So Aleph starts us off by saying that the people who keep God's testimonies are blessed, that we will avoid shame when we follow in God's commandments, which makes sense because then you are not feeling regret for the things that you do because you know you're upkeeping with statutes. And in verse 7, I will praise thee with uprightness of heart when I shall have learned thy righteous judgments. So essentially saying almost like, until I learn all of these judgments, I can't even praise you for everything that you are. Beth basically says, you know, we find cleansing and our way through you. That when we listen to God, we don't have to have sins. And when we rejoice in your testimonies, it is literally as if you have the most and the greatest riches. So just following in God's commandment and being able to understand what they are is on par with feeling rich in any other area in your life. For Gimel, asking once again, open my eyes so that I can understand you. I'm saying don't hide your commandments from me because I'm a stranger in the world. Like I'm a human. I actually don't know how to do this. Deleth goes on to say same thing again. Teach me, make me understand so that I can continue sharing that knowledge. Hay says, give me understanding. Going on down here to Teth, also saying, teach me your commandments. Before I was afflicted, I went astray, but now have I kept thy word in verse 67. So before I knew your commandments, I was sinning. I was aimless, but now I know the direction to go in. Also 71, it says, it is good for me that I have been afflicted that I might learn thy statutes. So essentially, you know, I have to experience some of this pain so that I can actually understand how you want me to learn these lessons. Jod also says that you have made me for your understanding. Help me learn your commandments. Mem, also very fascinating section here, saying that I love your laws. I love meditating in them. I have more understanding than all my teachers, and I understand more than a lot of people because I actually have your judgments and your commandments in me. I understand them, and that understanding, that knowledge is sweeter to me than honey. None saying that, you know, your word is delight for me in my world, saying that, you know, you lead me, your words are as if it's a lamp or a light. Once again, teach me your judgments. I really like verse 111, thy testimonies have I taken as a heritage forever, for they are the rejoicing of my heart. Really love this part because I think a lot of us worry about leaving some sort of a legacy for children or for future generations in regards to work or finances and things like that. But I always think about what is the legacy and the heritage you're leaving in terms of your mindset. Samet says that God's word is a hiding place and a shield. So both somewhere where you can take solace and something that protects you from the rest of the world. Asking, please uphold me into your word. Deal with your servant with mercy and give me understanding so that I may understand you. And that was Ain. Pei says, the entrance of thy words giveth light. It giveth understanding unto the simple in verse 130. So saying that hearing God's words, hearing God's testaments and guidance is actually what gives you light. It gives you an understanding of the most simplest things in life, which then of course make the more difficult easier. Asking God to give his word so that sins don't have dominion over you. Tzazidi also saying, teach me in your ways so that I may be righteous and faithful. In verse 141, I am small and despised, yet do not I forget thy precepts. So saying, even when somebody's coming after you, because I follow all of your commandments, I don't forget them, even when I'm being judged. In verse 144, he also says, the righteousness of thy testimonies is everlasting. Give me understanding, and I shall live. So it only after you understand God do you actually feel like you're living, because you are not only living in his commandments, but you are living a good, honest, and pure life, which makes everything else easier to handle. And then, of course, that makes you be able to live with peace. And Resh, saying, plead my cause and deliver me, quicken me according to thy word, in verse 154. So saying that, help me through this affliction quickly according to your word, so that I can move on and learn. And one of the last two, Shin, saying that also I rejoice at thy word as one that findeth great spoil, in verse 162, meaning that your word, God, is as wonderful as finding some sort of treasure. And that in verse 165, great peace have they which love thy law, and nothing shall offend them. And lastly, for Tao, saying, give me understanding according to thy word, in part of 169. So just a big theme of asking God for understanding and for presence. So really wonderful little section. Tomorrow I'll be back for day 152, starting with Psalm 120. Thank you for listening.